Hey there, everybody. Thanks for joining me for another one-man review. Today I've got another piece from Neoglyphic Media. Thank you, Colin, for sending these over. I think it costs $5, but I don't know. And I think this is called Terminal Discount. Um, I can't, it's 2021. I think this is issue number 2, it looks like, and it's by Leomi Sadler, as much as I can tell. I have no thoughts about this book. The reason I'm is that we can see, I don't know. Like, I just wanted to talk about this book because I'm so confused by it. But I've seen plenty of comics that feel like this, and I never know what to make of them. And I know obviously people are publishing them, and there's an audience for it, and so somebody out here enjoys this. And I'm curious if someone can explain to me, because I don't want to knock it. I think it's doing something, and I think it's doing what the artist intends to do. But I just have no idea what to do with comics like this, other than just enjoy the colors and kind of the clutter of it from a visual standpoint. Uh, I don't have any entry point for interpreting this, not even my kind of go-to with abstract comics, where it's like, I call it the poetics of form. Like, there is that in here. There are interesting uses of the elements of art and principles of design, but I just don't know what to make of this. Anytime that there's like writing, it goes into like kind of illegible glyphs, or if there is handwriting in here that's interpretable, it's in the middle of a bunch of stuff, and it's kind of crudely written as it is crudely drawn. I mean, I don't think the compositions are crude at all. I think that's intentional because the compositions seem sophisticated to me, or at least the intensity of time spent in it, seems like someone really devoted to this, and it's very hard to compose something like that and have it all hold together. So I find all of that really well done. So I don't mean crude in that sense, but just like the style of it is so intense, and so much of the actual rendering or lettering is like crude and hard to read. The compositions are very hard to decipher. There's like this kind of childlike drawing everywhere. And I don't know what it adds up to. It just seems like this into like, here's a drawing I can actually kind of interpret what's going on, and then final discount when, I have no idea what that says. S something, I don't know. I just don't get it. I honestly don't get it, but I'm intrigued by it. And I'm curious for people that do like comics like this, what is it that you're getting out of it? What kind of like interpretive framework should I be bringing, or emotional state, or whatever, to reading a work like this? So that's why I'm making this video. I want to know. Like, my instinct when I look at work like this, I feel like I'm talking to someone who has a dramatic like mental disorder. Um, this seems schizophrenic to me. Like, this is all stuff that makes perfect sense to them, and they feel like they're communicating something to someone, but it's so idiosyncratic and singular that it's not. And I don't know if the artist is like thinks they're communicating, and then everyone's just like, dude, what? Or if they're kind of intentionally just playing with form and stuff, and they're leaving it's not like some of the other works from Neoglyphic where it seems intentionally surreal. This is on some other level, but I don't think it's like intentionally abstract and devoid of an intent to communicate, because there's other things in like here, like opt out of care, hopeless croutons, professional butterfly, last sigh of nostalgia. There's like bits of things they're communicating to me that seem related to emotional states or mental states or something like that, which I'm not particularly good at interpreting, so that it seems out of the realm of something that's just what I can engage with successfully. So that's why I'm looking for help. But also, reading stuff like this, what it makes me think of is like, how many people are going around in the world where this is the inside of their head? Like, the fact that people respond to it means that there's, and I've seen plenty of other artists do stuff like this, means that this is a fair representation of what's going on in a decent amount of people's heads, whether it be how they feel or their thought process or something. It's representing some legitimate view of the world. And that freaks me the hell out, because the inside of my head looks like a Scott McCloud comic, like very orderly. And I know like a lot of the comics I've made don't really look like that, but that like Strange Death or something like that, where it's all over the place, but very orderly and very sensible and very like analytical and clear communication and very language based. And it's good for me to encounter stuff like this, because it's like, of course I'm probably gonna have it. Like if I met, I don't even remember what was the name of this artist. It was so hard to get through it. Leomi Sadler. If I met Leomi, I think that's an M. I don't know. Leomi? I don't know. But if I met this artist in person, I have a feeling like we would like disagree about most things. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's not surprising to me. You know, I've been friendly with people who are, I feel like this is what's going on inside of their head, and we like, if they're an open enough person, we can have like really interesting conversations about their worldview that are very illuminating to me. So I'd much rather talk to someone like that who's willing to talk and disagree, you know, without getting mad at each other, than I was someone who totally agrees with me. That's always nice too for a decompress. But I feel like someone like this is so opposite of me, and I love things like this because they give me into a peek of that fact of human nature. And then like this right here, where they're like having a handshake across a barrier, that one little 2-panel thing is what I feel like I would have to do with this artist if I met them in person. And if we're lucky, maybe we would get to this whatever's going on here, where we're holding hands in some metaphorical sense. But yeah, this is just intriguing and distressing to me that there are people walking around with the inside of their heads being this loud and colorful and chaotic, because I like a very austere interior of my head. Yeah, and I just think we need to figure out how to create more bridges, and something like this is kind of the first step, but it's so far that like, that's why I'm making this video, I guess, is I need your all help to build the first kind of 10 steps of the bridge to get me to where I can then maybe start to link up with artists like this. So yeah, hopefully this one has a big discussion in the comments. Like, that's why I'm putting this out there. If this is your, I can't recommend the book because I can't make any sense of it. I think it's intriguing, but if this is your kind of thing, then definitely go get it. I'll put a link. I can't tell you how much it is. I think it's $5, but I don't know. The forms are so shifted here that it's very hard for me to read. Yeah, again, $5. Everything's terminally discounted. I don't know. But definitely, if you like this stuff, go support the artist, and definitely support Neoglyphic, because I'm finding a lot of interesting things in the stuff that they send over. So really appreciate that. If you appreciate what we're doing here on the channel, the best way to support us are through Patreon. You can go there, and that helps us get some money to buy the books that we buy, so we have stuff to review. And then also supporting what Sean's doing with Living the Line Publishing, helping kind of the overall project of making better quality books that Living the Line has. The best way to do that is to support the books that Sean has coming out. So we'll take a look at a couple of those now. Plaza by Yokoyama Yuichi. This is translated by Ryan Holmberg and is very large for a manga. So that's a really cool feature of this book, this standard manga size. And this is just a 200 some odd page representation of what Yokoyama Yuichi thinks of the Carnival Parade, and he's just made this like relentlessly loud and rhythmic book that pushes all kinds of amazing boundaries of what comics and manga are, and we could not recommend this book more. Thanks for following along. Take it away, Jack.
You want to see all these books? Smash that subscribe button and the like button and the bell, and then you get them.